Hi everyone.
Hello, sir.
We want to find the expressions of these factorial numbers. The first one says n plus 2 factorial. N plus 2 factorial. Before ever we write the expression for n plus 2 factorial, first of all, let us write the expression for n factorial. In our previous video, we discussed that n factorial is the n itself here. We open a bracket, n minus 1. We open another bracket, n minus 2. We open another bracket, n minus 3. So until a desired point, then we indicate a factorial. If you are asked in class to write the expression for n factorial, you can give your result and stop at n minus 3. Your colleague may say what? Up to what? N minus 10. Another person has the right to say up to what? N minus 200. The most important thing, there must be a factorial. But irrespective of the end of this n factorial, according to mathematics, this one continues until we have what? 2 times 1. Mathematically, this one end with 1. Simply because if we say 6 factorial, we say 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If we say 4 factorial, 4, 3, 2, 1. So even if you have n factorial, we're supposed to understand that mathematically it ends with what? 1. But just that we have a variable, so we cannot physically see that particular one. But you need to understand that. Alright. So we want to write the expressions for n plus 2 factorial. Alright. So with n factorial having this expression, we can deduce that if n factorial is equal to this n that comes immediately before the factorial is the one we have here. So what comes before the factorial is n plus 2. The difference here is this n alone is a single term, but here n plus 2 is an expression, and we're supposed to regard this one to serve as a single term, a unit. So therefore, it is possible that it's supposed to be in a bracket. So this n here is what we have outside. So n plus 2 again is what we have outside. So we have the first bracket. So we also try to have our first bracket. But in the first bracket, each bracket here starts with n. What is this n? This n is the n factorial. So the fact that the subsequent brackets, each of them starts with n, so here again, every bracket here is supposed to start with n plus 2. So we say n plus 2. Before ever we say minus 1. Minus 1. So we go to the second bracket. The second bracket again is the n we have here before the factorial is the beginning. So here again, before the factorial we have n plus 2. That is n plus 2. So it's a constant way of saying minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, regardless of the number. So this time around, here we said minus 1, now we see what? Minus 2. So the next bracket, we also start with what? N plus 2. N plus 2. But here we said minus 1, minus 2, this time around minus 3. We even want to stop here. No problem. The only thing is we must say what? Factorial. So now we can conclude that n plus 2 factorial is n plus 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So we say n plus 1. So 2 minus 2 is what? 0. So we can say n. So 2 minus 3 is minus 1. So n minus 1. So n plus 2 factorial is the n plus 2 itself, just like this one. N factorial is the n itself. N plus 2 factorial is the n plus 2 itself. Then we start by saying n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3 until we get to 1. So here again, n plus 2 factorial, the n plus 2 itself, then we start by saying n plus 2 minus 1, n plus 2 minus 2, n plus 2 minus 3. So this is what we get. So in conclusion, when you have n with a positive number, n with a positive integer, so what do we say? We start with that n plus 2. So because we need to subtract, this number decreases continuously. So here is n plus 2. Expect the next one to be n plus 1. What if you remove the 1? There will be a single n. What if you say minus 1? You get n minus 1. What if we decide to continue? What will be the next bracket? N minus 2 with the factorial. Alright, so let us come to this one. N minus 2 factorial. So what you are given is what to start with. That is n minus 2. N minus 2. So in the next bracket, what you are given, n minus 2 minus 1. In the next bracket, what you are given, minus 2. In the next bracket, what you are given, minus 3. We want to stop here. You can continue, you can stop here, no problem. So what we must say a factorial. Without this one, of course, everything is wrong. So we have the factorial. So we can deduce that this is n minus 2. So this is n minus 3. This is n minus 4. And that one is n minus 5 factorial. So let us try to compare. This is n plus 2. So by the time you are conversant with them, with the factorials, n plus 2. Remember, this one is plus. And don't forget, traditionally we need to subtract minus 1. So n plus 2, n plus 1, single n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3 factorial. No matter the positive number that you are given, it depends how large or small the number is. That will later lead to negative, no matter what. Even if you are given n minus 500 factorial, only that you can say n minus 500. The next one is what? N minus 501. So, and so on. Don't forget the factorial. But if you have a plus, n plus 500, we have this one. Then we have 499. We keep subtracting. It depends the time, but the end of it will become negative. Alright. So let us continue here. Now this is, let me take off these two. We want to write expressions for 2n factorial. But mind you, this is just like when we say minus 2x, or let's just say minus 2. The minus is affecting what? The 2 directly. But when you say minus 2 plus 3, the minus affects only the first value. The minus affects only what? The first value. So here again, if you say minus 2 plus x in a bracket, this minus affects only 2. It does not affect 3. But here now, this minus affects only 2. It does not affect x. But here, the minus affects both the 2 and x because of the bracket. So here again, the factorial only affects the n. The factorial does not affect the 2. So only the n has the right to repeat. Only what? The n has the right to repeat. So we can keep our 2. We can keep our 2. So we have n. So this is like when we say 2 with n factorial. 2 with what? N factorial. So what is n factorial? N multiplied by n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4. We want to stop here. Clear? Alright. So we want to know for 2n factorial. This time around, the factorial does not only affect the n, it also affects the 2. So we say the 2n that we are given, we start what we are given minus 1. We go again. What we are given minus 2. We go again. What we are given minus 3. We intend to stop here with the factorial. Alright, so this is the last one. The factorial affects only the bracket. The factorial does not affect the 2n. So this implies, this question we can even reform it to be like 2n, then this is n minus n plus 1 factorial. So 2n is waiting for us. Then we are working for what? N plus 1 factorial. So what we are given is n plus 1. What we are given is n plus 1 minus 1. What we are given is n plus 1 minus 2. What we are given is n plus 1 minus 3. We tend to stop here. Now, if we are to conclude this, we can say this is 2n multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by what? Just n. Because 1 and 1 goes there, they go away. So the next one is what? N minus 1, and this is n minus 3. Don't forget the factorial. Don't forget the factorial. So these are very key points for factorials. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and share the video. Bye bye.